Hi, I'm Ingrid Ty, Director of Economic Development for Oakland County. I was an active duty Army officer, and I first served overseas with the 1st Infantry Division in Macedonia and Kosovo as part of NATO peacekeeping operations. I later then led combat troops with the 1st Cavalry Division over in Baghdad, Iraq. In my capacity as Director of Economic Development, I also have the distinct honor and pleasure to serve and lead our Oakland County Veterans Services Division. We connect 60,000 veterans and their dependents to services and benefits. I hope that you enjoy some of these stories that are from a few of our veterans who both live and work in the county.
My name is Madia Davis. I am the commander of the Groves Walker Farmington American Legion Post 346 here in Farmington, Michigan.
My name is Modesto de la O, and I'm currently the commander of VFW 1370.
Joseph M. Michler. I got out of the Army as an E5.
Kevin Thomas. I was in the United States Army for 25 years.
When I was in high school, I had the opportunity, I was appointed to Annapolis, the Naval Academy. So that's how I started.
I enlisted at the age of 18 into the Marine Corps. I chose the Marine Corps because of its reputation as as the toughest.
I flunked out of college, that's why I got drafted. I was drafted in the fall of 1966.
I enlisted in 1983.
Well, as far as my military experience goes, I actually started up in Selfridge on a temporary assignment.
Some of my military experience, some of the stations I had originally was Parris Island.
I started with Fort Knox, Kentucky for basic training.
I did basic training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
I worked with submarines, and I was on a submarine tender.
And then went to the 13th MEU that took me from California to the Horn of Africa.
And then I went to Vietnam.
While I was in Germany, of course, Gulf War happened, and I was shipped over to Kuwait, Iraq.
The military prepared me for civilian life, and I will say civilian counts as my work in the federal government, and that was the whole supply and logistics training.
I have to credit the military with a few things. One, the ability to stay on task and get things done.
And one thing I learned in Korea and Vietnam is that I didn't have a whole lot of focus in my life, but combat really taught me some lessons that I have carried with me throughout my entire life.
And that's when I came back here. That's when I joined the Sheriff's Department in '97. Definitely taught me the attention to detail. It definitely helped me out with this job.
No, I don't miss the cold barracks. I don't miss sleeping on the ground, and I don't miss eating rations. And I don't miss being shot at. I miss the people. I miss the camaraderie.
There's something special about veterans. Me being able to come here and feel the camaraderie.
There's one thing absolutely, I believe most veterans will agree with me, that miss about the military has to be the camaraderie, hands down.
And I miss the camaraderie, you know. When you're in the service, because you're away from home, you tend to be closer to your buddies and your co-workers.
When you're out, the transitional challenges that go from coming out of the military to try and fit into civilian society is very difficult. Very difficult. Everybody's going to face that. The severity varies, but every vet that I know of has faced that kind of challenge.
And in those days, there was no help for PTSD. You're talking early 70s, there was nothing. And if there was, nobody was talking about it. So it was pretty much, you had to deal with it no matter how you could deal with it.
We do fine in public, okay? We have normal civilian friends, but there is something special about being able to have a place where you're close with people who understand what you dealt with.
I had several friends that I made in Vietnam who were killed, and that's never been very easy.
It's very, very important for veterans, and I highly recommend it for those younger people who are getting out of the service.
Consider joining nonprofit organizations.
But just having a place to go and connecting with those who understand is very, very important. So I highly recommend it.
You're going to find that camaraderie again. You're going to find that sense of service again. You're going to be able to fill that void that is left from serving all that time in the military. And it is an important thing to approach for your own well-being and just your overall wellness.
Helping the community is such an important part of the American Legion. We do things as lighthearted as hosting a trunk or treat for the kids. We had 150 young children here, and it was just an absolutely great time.
VFW 1370 does many things.
We are a resource center. You got a problem, we're going to try to help you any way we can.
We, on Veterans Day, actually, we're going to be going to several retirement homes.
We have another nonprofit currently in the works that helps focus vets into rebuilding vehicles.
We do, every month, we do a vet-to-vet dinner. It's a free dinner for veterans and their families.
On September 11th, we honor our local firefighters and police officers.
And we actually just started one here known as Foxhole, which gives vets an opportunity to learn martial arts and offers an outlet to help with some transitional challenges.
We have the Hometown Heroes Project. We recognize kids who are going into the service, and we recognize young people getting out of the service. We do that for a couple of reasons. First off, when you get out of the service, you might need help.
And I worked as a school liaison officer prior to becoming a detective, which means I worked in the school with the school kids. I did that because I wanted to try to mentor some kids and get them on the right path.
We really enjoy giving back to the community, and they've been very good to us as well.
And to all my brothers and sisters in arms, I want to wish you a happy Veterans Day.
It was my honor to serve.
It was an honor to serve in the U.S. military and the Marine Corps. I would gladly do it all over again.
It was my pleasure to serve in the United States Army. I would definitely do it again.
It was an honor and a privilege to serve my country, and I would do it all again. I hope that you enjoyed these videos. If you're a veteran or you know a veteran that might be interested in our services, please call or visit our website.